Hey team, welcome back to the garage today. Today we're going to be replacing a Serpentine belt tensioner on my 2013 Honda Odyssey with the J35 3.5 liter V6. This is the tensioner for the belt that runs the power steering pump, the air conditioning, the alternator on the front side of the engine. It's the belt that you can see when you open the hood. Quick backstory, I changed the timing belt and tensioner and water pump 2 weeks ago. Everything was fine with the tensioner, and I noticed this week it's really making a racket, especially when the car gets warm. It's really making some noise. I isolated it to the tensioner with my stethoscope and then confirmed by removing the belt and letting the engine run, and the noise went away. So to show you what I'm talking about, I'll flip the camera around and show you the tensioner that I'm talking about. All right, so the tensioner in question is right here in the middle of the Serpentine belt system. I'm trying to point it out with my red pickup tool here. See if I can get a good focus on it. It's down there. It's right there. This pulley right there, and that's what keeps the tension on the Serpentine belt system and keeps that belt from flying off on you while you're going down the road. So that's the one we're going to change. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is remove this power steering hose and get it out of the way. You're going to lose a little bit of fluid when you do it. It is what it is. Just tuck it up underneath this AC line. Careful not to jostle the AC line too much that you break it and have to replace all your Freon and fix the system. So we got that out of the way. Now we're going to remove the belt from the tensioner. We'll use a tensioner tool like this, and what you're going to do is on the pulley that provides the tension, you'll put your tool on that one. So I will try to show you what I mean. Down there, you want to put your tool right on that pulley there and use that to release the tension on the belt so you can remove the Serpentine belt. So we're just going to push it forward and remove our belt off of the pulleys. Now, the only reason you remove that power steering hose is so that you can get your tool down in there and move it with no problems. And that's it. Now our belt is off. I'm just going to lay it down there off to the side. Give us a little bit ease of putting it back on later and rethreading it. Okay, team, so you can do this job completely from the top of the engine, but what I can't do from the top of the engine is show you these bolts and give you a good idea of what we're actually doing. So right here, this is your whole tensioner assembly, and there's two bolts you got to remove. You got to remove this one, which I believe is a 14 millimeter, and then you have to remove this one here, which is a 12 millimeter. And once you remove those, this whole assembly is just going to drop right off the block into your hands. Just this bolt here, you're going to have to back it out, and then at some point get your tool off it and then back it out by hand the rest of the way, because there's just not a lot of clearance in here, and at some point you're going to get that wrench up against the frame there, and then you're not going to be able to get the bolt out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to show you that part. But yep, this here, and then this one right there. See you in a few. All right, so as promised, I'm back with the old tensioner out, and I have the new tensioner here. This tensioner is a Continental tensioner. I was over a barrel, and so I got what I could get overnight. But what I like about this is it's made in Canada, and I'm of the opinion Canada makes some good stuff, and it's high quality. But what you always want to do before you do any job and put the new part on is you want to verify that it's the correct part from what you're taking off. So, I mean, if I look at this, it's a dead-on match. Pretty much this is a Honda part, right down to the markings on the the hardware. Yeah. Right there, SFT 308, SFT 308. The new one has the little markings for the reverse thread bolt. The Honda one has the exact same markings. What is different is the Honda has that casting number on there. This unit has, you know, an etched in part number. But when we flip it over, it looks pretty much identical right down to the manufacturing date numbers here on both parts. I really feel that this is a Honda part that is just aftermarket branded, and I say that because inside the box there was this set of instructions. They're general instructions. I would not follow these instructions. I would get follow my little tutorial here. But Litton's, they're well known as an OE supplier, and being that it's made in Canada, and they would supply Honda here in the U.S. and with tensioner parts. So I feel really good about this part and putting it on. I like to do this for you folks, show you the parts that I'm putting on, because if you're watching this video, you're probably contemplating doing this job and you're trying to figure out what brand you want to go with. So this is a Continental unit. Just remember, this is for my 2013 Odyssey. Verify your application, because there could be slight differences between J35s in terms of how this bolts on and stuff like that. But I feel confident installing this unit. Also, you want to make sure, you can see it in the old unit here, in the new unit, there's this plastic collar. From what I understand, having used this, I think it's just there to keep this bolt in place while you're trying to wrestle this unit back on. So make sure that stays seated when you go to put it on. And you should be all set. So I'm going to go get this mounted up, and I'll check back with you soon. Okay, so if you're a follower of my channel, you know I'm a stickler for torque values, and some of you may or may not know that you can actually get a 24-hour pass to the Honda Tech site. I believe it's $30 now. It used to be 25. And print off any instructions that you want. Highly valuable. I recommend if you have any jobs that you're going to be doing in the future you think you might want to do, go on there, print off everything you think you need. But what they do have is like an 18-page document with all the torque values. Definitely grab that for yourself. So right here, drive belt auto tensioner bolt, 8mm. That refers to the threads that are on the bolt. So that's our smaller one. That takes the 12mm head. We're going to torque that to 16 foot-pounds. And then drive belt auto tensioner bolt, that's the one that goes through the center to hold it to the block. They want that at 33 foot-pounds. And then they have one more here, drive belt auto tensioner pulley bolt. That is for the pulley on the tensioner that actually provides the tension. And if you were to replace that, that would be 48. But right now, we're just going to do 16, and we're going to do the 33 into the block, and we'll be good. Okay, everything's torqued to spec. Now we can go ahead and put our belt back on. If you don't have a torque wrench, I highly recommend you invest in one. You don't want to be doing the old good and tight on these. You're going into aluminum. And it can be very easy to strip out, and it doesn't take much to torque these down. So again, do yourself a favor, get a torque wrench, do it right, and you'll never have to worry about it. Okay, so we have our belt back on, and we have reconnected the power steering pump hose. We're ready to start it up and see if our work was for nothing. Okay, so the noise I was hearing is gone, and also the tensioner is not jumping nearly as much as it was before. So I'm glad, money well spent. We diagnosed the problem correctly and repaired it ourselves, putting a few bucks back in our own pocket for something else. Thanks for joining me today. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Talk to you soon. Bye.